Like any do-it-yourself project, whether it's around the home or car restoration, if you're inexperienced, you're bound to make mistakes. It would be disingenuous of me to tell you that everything went hunky-dory on the risky business, our 1985 Porsche 928 dashboard restoration project. Today's video, I was trying to correct some of those mistakes, and I'll take you through what I got done today as I get ready to get all the components ready so that we can do the install the week of September 19th. Stay tuned. So today was about really finishing up the punch list items on the main dashboard component as well as the instrument binnacle. I wanted to get all of those things corrected and in place before I start tackling arguably the most complex part, which is going to be the center console. While I was able to save the defroster vents, they are being a little tricky to get in the thing. I tried heating them, as you can see with my Nurse Nancy's combination hair dryer heat gun, and that softening them up tends to help get them in place. But the driver's side in particular is just not clipping in. If you're not familiar with the car, the dashboard actually mates with the two door panels. And so and part of that is there's actually vents that are part of the door cards, and there's a seal that when the door closes, it mates up with the dash. It's a great, nice, continuous look. When I was installing the dashboard cover, I thought it would be better to, because of the complex curves around this area, just cover the dash, let it dry, and then put in the gaskets, the rubber seals, cut them out later for these defroster vents. So here I am cutting from the back side very carefully, making an X, and then following from the inside of the contour to cut those pieces out slowly. Always use a sharp X-Acto knife, and you see here's the rubber gasket. I detailed that, cleaned it up, and the driver's side defroster vent's in place. Unfortunately, I didn't. Same thing here. Camera turned off, but you see it's a pretty straightforward cut. And with that done, I was able to focus in on some of the pieces on the back. I still had to glue and trim back the underside of the dash. And here I am cleaning up some excess glue and getting the underside of the dash tabs. The main thing here was I was trying to let it go for a little bit. I couldn't decide how much of a tab I wanted underneath, but I decided today that I would rather have more material underneath and let the windshield, as it mounts to just under the windshield where it mounts to the dash, let that all seal in. The last thing I wanted to put plenty of material in here so that there's no chance that would start curling up from exposure to heat. So as I mentioned, would not be a DIY project if I didn't make some mistakes. Again, I am not a professional. I have never recovered a dash before in my life, so I'm learning as I go, and hopefully by watching these videos you can learn from some of my mistakes. Luckily, they weren't ruinous that I had to completely replace the skin, but I'll take you through some of the things I did. And if you ever see me at a car show, please do not bring them up. So, the first one is Classic 9 leather gave me plenty of material, but for some odd reason, when I was cutting the dashboard out and making the contour, I took off too much material. I thought this section was going to be covered by there's a plastic piece that goes underneath the steering column. I was horribly wrong about that. Luckily, and I mean luckily, this is a very well hidden section of the dashboard. But unfortunately, I had very little extra material, so I managed to put a couple scraps together. So here I am patching those in, literally two pieces. And I know this looks like crap, but I've got an idea of how I'm going to blend these in later. But for now, I'm putting these literally, this is where the steering wheel, the under dash tray, and the steering column mechanism hides all of this. You really got to look underneath to see that. I've got a way of blending that in, so in a future one, I will show how I'm going to blend those two pieces in. So that's mistake number one. Luckily, not too bad. Arguably the more cosmetic one that I did not take into account, and I strongly encourage everybody doing this, you've got to leave room around the glove box door. I mistakenly thought that there was the felt for the inner glove box would hide all of this, and I didn't have to leave much material there. And unfortunately, I was horribly wrong about that. So this is a shot at the top right corner of the glove box on the dashboard where the glove box comes in. I'm actually putting a patch in this. The lighting wasn't very good. I'm shading it, quite frankly, but I'm putting a patch in. Looks like crap right now, but again, just like I'm going to blend the other things, I'm going to use some vinyl dye and make that blend in a little bit more. But that's the other area. Again, in hindsight, I should have left more material around the glove box, and I would not be making so much rework for myself. But overall, it still looks better than what the original dashboard. There's the piece being fitted in. The glue lines are showing right now, but again, I'm going to blend that in with some dye and filler, and it'll look good. But right now, here's a slow-mo of the dash pod mated to the put in place, and I have the glove box door clamped in. You can kind of see some of the material I had to put in there, but overall, when you look at this, it's still a hell of a lot better. Just being real, every project has its little quirks. Now I'll just have to do a little bit of rework here to make it look very subtle. It could have been much worse. The main thing is anybody's eyes will focus in on the top of the dashboard and the glove box door and the dash pod. These little nuances around the sides and that. Only the most ardent 928 people might look at it, but again, this car is well beyond the concours stage, so I'm not too worried about it. It's going to look a hell of a lot better, and it won't smell like mouse piss anymore, and that's what I was aiming for. That's a wrap for Monday, September 12th. All this week, I'm going to be focusing my efforts on getting all of the components ready so that on a week from tomorrow, that would be September 20th, we could start reassembling it. On Tuesday, I'm going to focus my efforts on taking the center console apart and start working on getting the leather installed on that. How that's going to go, but I'll be taping it all along the way. So thank you if you haven't subscribed yet, we're only about 33 people away from hitting the magic 1,000 mark. Press the like button as well as comment here or there, and that will help the YouTube algorithm push this 928 video up for others to see that may not be aware of the channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on Tuesday. Have a great night. Take care.